Yeah, to answer the first question and comment, yes, of course, I have left out the ships. I mentioned about the submarines. But what I wanted to make present here today is the fact that, you see, this is a very, fledgling area of cooperation between the two countries. But what is important is that the two countries are aware of the importance of cooperation in the maritime arena. And this is reflected in the first maritime dialogue between the two countries, which has never happened in the past. So there are two things which have happened recently. First of all is the first joint naval exercise between the two countries, then the maritime affairs dialogue, and also the start of a trilateral dialogue between the United States, India and Japan. So all of these point to the fact that there is a growing realization in both the countries that cooperation in this arena would benefit both Japan and India. Japan more so because its dependence on oil imports from the Middle East, it's only going to increase. In the face of a drawdown of nuclear power in Japan, it's very important for Japan to ensure the stability of its oil supplies. And what if the Iran imbroglio, there's further escalation in Iran? In that case, Japan would have even bigger problems. So it is very important, at least for Japan, to ensure that the sea lanes of communication in the Indian Ocean region are kept open, and India is the only, being the dominant naval force in this area, and being friendly towards Japan would tremendously help Japanese naval interests and of course the interests of the Japanese economy. And of course, one of the key issues in Japanese domestic politics is the fact that the LDP wants to revive Japan's ailing economy, and it has been successful in doing it. Today, the reports were released that Japan has, for the first time, has recorded an increase in its GDP. To answer the second question by Ambassador, yes, of course, Indian oil companies are at work in the Russian Far East, but Japan is not involved in providing security to the oil imports from the Russian Far East. Because anyway, Japan and Russia themselves have bilateral issues. So this cannot be seen as a kind of a template for the Japan-India cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. But of course, there are other areas, for example, the cooperation between the two countries on the anti-piracy front, with Japan opening a military base off the coast of Djibouti. So this could be kind of a template for the emerging cooperation in the maritime realm. Then regarding Dr. Surya Narayan's question, yes, of course, I think China had, of course, issued no drawbacks to all the countries involved, and I think it was Australia under the then Prime Minister Kevin Rudd, which I think was least to say after joining the quadrilateral initiative was the first one, I think, to opt out. And I do not know whether it's Kevin Rudd's love for Mandarin or for other political reasons, but they were the first to opt out, and then India also showed disinclination towards being seen ostensibly as being a part of any grouping. But this has also got to do with India's foreign policy. A recent policy document which has been released which has been penned by some of India's major strategic thinkers and policy makers, the Non-Alignment 2.0, it calls for the continuation of strategic autonomy. So whereas on the one hand it would like to be seen as taking some kind of proactive steps against China, but it would not, even now it would not like to be overtly seen as being anti-China or being a part of a grouping which is seen as anti-China. Now we see before the Indian Prime Minister departs from Japan, the Chinese Prime Minister would be coming to India, and I think he has carefully chosen India as his first overseas visit. So this is something, there is a lot of things that is at stake between India and China too. So India may not like to be seen as being overtly China. This has also got to do with trade. India-China trade is expected to touch $100 billion by 2015. And so both the sides realize that the political ties should not hold the economic ties hostage.
Question?
Yes,